Welcome to the Community News Network. My name is Michael Mut. I'm here today on behalf of my own company, Mut Communications. I'm joined by Carrie Sieh from the Miami Artist Census. Hello, Carrie.
Hi.
How you doing?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. So let's get right to it. What is the Miami Artist Census and why is it so important?
The Miami Artist Census is an independent, artist-run research initiative. We survey artists, visual artists for now, in Miami-Dade County to find out in detail who we are as a group, what we do, what we need, how things are going. And then we analyze that data and are in the process now of sharing it.
Oh, okay. So why survey the artistic community now?
I think it's less about why right now, choosing this particular moment, and more about just the fact that this is when it happened to work out. It's something that I think has been needed for a long time, and we've been working on it for 2 years now. So it's been a while in the works.
Okay.
Our core team was formed about 2 years ago in a meeting of a group that my collaborator in the census, Misael Soto, formed. It's an artist advocacy group called Artists for Artists.
Okay.
So we grew out of that, became our own thing, and have been working on this for a while.
Yeah, so my understanding is that the census already took place and now that we have some preliminary results.
Yes, so the first iteration of the census has been done, the survey has been done.
Okay.
We've been working on analyzing the data for a while now and are just starting to release results. We're hoping to do this long term, though, not just a one-time thing.
Okay.
So it is a long-term project, and this is just the beginning.
Okay, so how often would you ideally survey the artist population in Miami?
Well, we are a very small team,
Okay.
and we are almost exclusively self-funded at this point. So we hope that we will be able to do this every 1 or 2 years.
Okay.
Every year would be ideal.
Great. So what do you hope to accomplish by sharing the results now?
Well, a few things. We see that even without our survey, that while artists bring value to our broader community, a lot of artists are struggling and maybe not experiencing so much of that value themselves. So that's a problem.
Yeah.
We would like to see that change. So we are doing this project in order to gather more information about the problem and then encourage data-driven solutions that might come from artists themselves, from arts institutions. We hope that by sharing the data, other people will be able to help solve the problems that interfere with artists' practices. And also, this is the first time we're doing this, so we know that we didn't get every single visual artist in Miami to respond to our survey. We hope that as we share the results and people see what we're doing with this, that more and more artists will want to respond to the next one and be counted.
Got it. Yeah. Well, hopefully more and more artists will see this recording and want to take part.
I hope so.
All right. So the results sort of are being released under the general heading prologue, the big picture. What are some of the most important top-line findings that you've seen?
Well, so the prologue itself is just the first initial report that in itself is the most important findings, we think, that stand out the most. But to pull even more of them out, I think the biggest takeaway is that 75% of our respondents have considered moving out of Miami because of the challenges that they face here that are that make it difficult to be an artist in Miami. Also, a lot of artists are struggling financially. 50% reported going without a basic necessity in the past 2 years.
Oh.
So those I would say are the biggest, and financial issues lead to other issues such
Right.
as healthcare, lack of studio space, that sort of thing.
Wow, those are very important findings. That's something.
Mm-hmm.
That's really something. So I'd like to shift gears a little bit, and I know you're a little bit reticent, but are you an artist yourself?
I am. All of the members of our team are artists.
But not musicians, I hear.
Not musicians. We have visual artists, conceptual artists, performance artists. Really, I think we all fall under the category of the existing in the visual art world.
Okay.
We would love to expand to other disciplines, but we wanted to start small and make sure we didn't overwhelm ourselves with this first round.
Sure. Well, I'm a musician myself, so I'd love to see how we can work together, how I can help out.
Yeah, while we think about how we might be able to expand into other disciplines, and even expand to survey artists not just in Miami-Dade County, we would love to hear from artists of all kinds as to what would be interesting to find out, what's specific to your discipline that we should ask if we are able to do that.
Gotcha. So did you study the arts, or was there something else in your educational background that maybe led you to the arts?
I did. So my BA is in visual art with a focus on painting and photography.
Oh,
And
where'd you go to school?
I went to UC Santa Cruz
Oh, okay.
in California.
Right on. That was a conversation we were having just earlier.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
And I have a master's in library and information science too. So
Gotcha.
I'm both an artist and a librarian.
Very nice. Well, I'm a product of the FIU photography program.
Awesome.
I studied communications at FIU, and I was 3 credits shy of a minor in visual arts.
Just
And it was, yeah. And, sadly, I tried to go back and tried to re-enroll, but they said, no, that ship sailed, son.
That's too bad.
Yeah, so I that's one of my regrets in life is that I will not have a minor in visual arts officially. But I did love the history of photography. There was one really a great professor there, and a great course in the history of photography. It was always fascinating. Always stuck with me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's see. So who are some of your favorite local artists?
Well, I have so many. There are so many amazing artists here. I really don't think I could choose just a few.
Okay.
I also actually am a little bit reluctant to focus on my personal preferences in the context of talking about the census, because it really is about all of us as a group.
Of course.
And so I would rather just say we have amazing artists here at all levels of recognition.
Yeah, no, I certainly agree. I'm biased myself because my wife she's a painter.
Oh, okay.
So she's my favorite, Grisel Gajano.
Okay.
She was doing murals for quite some time. She's kind of I joke with her. I tell her that I killed her muse because she hasn't really been doing much since we got together. But I think her focus has shifted a bit. I mean,
sometimes that happens.
Yeah, but she does some really good work. But what about some of the classical or some of the more famous artists? Which movement were you drawn to?
Oh, just in all of art history?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
And I know this wasn't on our list of questions, but I thought
You're putting me on the spot here.
spice up the conversation a little bit.
Well, I mean, I liked the Surrealists when I was in high school. That was my first thing I was into.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Less now, but I'm all over the place in my own taste. I think I like a little bit of everything.
Yeah, I love Dali. He was always my favorite. Yeah. So let's see. So what are the next steps for the MAC, for the Miami Artist Census?
Well, we're planning to put out 5 more monthly mini reports.
Okay.
On different topics.
So prologue is the first. Would be the
it's
first.
The first.
Okay.
Right,
good.
because we're calling it the prologue because we're thinking of this as how the data is telling us a story. Essentially, it's creating a narrative that we're discovering, and so, like in a book, this is the beginning, the little taste ahead of time. And
gotcha. So 5 more after this.
Right. So the next chapters will be on topics like employment, debt, housing, maintaining a practice, things like that.
Oh,
We've got a lot of demographic information to share. And then once the mini reports are out, we'll finish up with a big final report and an event. And then
an event.
Yes.
Okay.
To both share what we've been up to and distribute the final product, but also to encourage people to participate next time.
Very nice.
And
any plans for the event? Any dates or locations?
Nothing yet. No.
Okay.
Still very much in the works.
That sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah. And ideally, we would start collecting responses for the next iteration of this in January. But again, a lot depends on funding.
Right.
We'll see where we're at.
Great. So any action items that are associated with the release of these new things? Like, is there an email list or something where you would encourage people to sign up?
People can go to Instagram.
Okay.
And look us up. We're just Miami Artist Census. And
Miami Artist Census, right?
Right. You can get updates there, or you can go to our website, miamiartistcensus.com.
And that's where people can read the prologue, the big picture.
Yes, you can read it. You can download it to print it yourself.
Okay.
Get more information about us, and then when the survey opens again, that's one of the places you can go to access it.
Okay. So, Carrie, the U.S. government conducts a constitutionally mandated census every 10 years. So I know that funding is sort of a factor, but when would be the next one? You're saying in January would be when it would open?
I would love to be able to do it in January, but we'll see.
So that's what you're targeting?
That's the hope.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
good. But
good.
at least every 2 years is what we'd like to do.
And speaking of funding, is there anything on the county or the state or the federal level that you guys are working to maybe work
We're
to get
looking
something?
into applying for grants.
Okay.
We're taking donations, although...
Can people donate on the website, or how would they donate?
Yes.
Okay.
If you go to the website, there should be information there about how to donate.
Okay.
Yeah, right now we are all donating our time.
Right.
To do this, and we've had some private donations, but it's mostly a labor of love.
We thought about maybe crowdfunding or some sort of maybe an event that would serve as a fundraiser, an auction.
We actually haven't thought about that yet. I don't think. We've been just excited to get it going and see that we can in fact make it happen. Well,
I can speak for her because we're married, but I would love to volunteer an original piece for my wife's collections for some sort of, if there's an auction or some sort of fundraiser.
Well, thank you.
I'm sure she would be, and I'm probably getting in trouble for this now, but I'm sure she'd be amenable to the idea.
One of the questions we ask in the survey is actually about donations.
Okay.
And how artists are often asked to donate in order to help support arts institutions.
Right.
Which is complicated for artists.
Yes.
So we don't want to rely only on...
Of course. No, it's a big ask. It's a big ask.
To fund what we're doing, yeah.
Right. I happen to know because we moved storage spaces just recently.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that she's got a bunch of really beautiful pieces that are just kind of sitting there. And, I'm sure she would agree, or maybe not. But, we'd like to find a nice home for them. We'd like to for them to serve a greater purpose. I think that would be nice. And again, I might go to bed without supper tonight for this, but
you'll have to let me know.
It's fine.
Happens.
Okay, I will. I definitely will. So, where can our readers or where can our viewers learn more about MAC? Can you give us that website once again?
It's miamiartistcensus.com.
Right, and they're at Instagram?
Or Instagram, Miami Artist Census.
And that's where they can read the report at the website?
Yes.
Okay. Carrie, was there anything that I left out? Anything else that you wanted to mention before we...
Well, I don't maybe. I don't remember if I finished answering one of your other questions.
Did I cut you off? I'm sorry.
No, I think I just distracted myself.
Okay.
When you asked me about what we're trying to accomplish and why we're doing this, we are making it clear that we are artists and we are doing this because we have artists' interests at heart. But we also want other people to be able to make use of our data. We would love for arts institutions to access it, use it in the service of their fulfilling their missions, making policy, if maybe arts-related government agencies would be interested. And I also wanted to make clear when I talk about sharing with institutions, with the public, one thing I didn't mention specifically is that we would love to develop a publicly accessible, interactive data dashboard.
Okay.
When I talk about sharing the data, a lot of artists are understandably and very reasonably concerned about privacy. So I want to just make it super clear that I'm talking about aggregate data, which means it's been anonymized and collected into a form that gives us percentages and can help us measure without making any of the individual responses searchable or identifiable.
That's good to note. But I think this cause is great. I'm really happy that someone is caring enough to survey the population and then to share the data. I think data sharing is central to pretty much anything that we do. And obviously, I'm being a musician myself. I think very highly of the arts, and to any community, the arts are vital. It's, to me, one of the central tenets of a thriving society and a thriving community. So I'm really glad that you're doing this. I'm really happy that you've joined me here today. I really appreciate your time.
Thanks. It was nice talking to you.
Yeah. So Carrie, one more time, the MiamiArtScensus.com. MiamiArtistCensus.com. Thank you for correcting me. And you guys are on Instagram at Miami Artist Census.
Yes.
Great. Well, on behalf of Carrie and the MAC, my name is Michael Mut, Mut Communications and the Community News Network. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.